You're making me angry. Now, I want to be clear. When I say I'm hoping that the person I'm talking to is not the person that's making me angry or frustrated, but the larger you. And so I want to talk to you about some of the reasons that I get frustrated or angry with people I interact with, and some of the reasons that those who are successful don't make me angry, don't frustrate me, and are the reason that I actually do this. So I wanted to talk about that. So let's first talk about the ones that are successful, mentees. I've talked about the mentee who had 14 LOIs, crash and burn during COVID, now has more than 100 million in revenue. Pretty glad that he didn't quit after 14 broken LOIs. Most people would have quit. Got another mentee, now has 15 locations. Ended up having to fight a bank where we went to the Supreme Court of the state. Most of his other advisors ended up telling him, no, you're wasting your time. And I didn't think he was. And we ended up prevailing in the state Supreme Court. Now, if he had folded his tent and gone home rather than stick up for what he thought was right, and eventually we prevailed, would have been a different world for him. And then lastly, and this person has not done an acquisition yet, but he was in group coaching. He moved over to VIP, and we were talking about the why. And he said to me that this is what I do now. I saved for a year to be able to join the VIP. I work 3 jobs to be able to support that. I eat rice and beans, because I can't afford anything else. And he was working between 100 and 110 hours a week. There's little doubt with that kind of commitment that he will be successful. I'm sure that he will be, and if he keeps it up. And so will he meet with rejection? Yes. But the numbers, if he's doing the right things, will pan out. And he's now, after pivoting twice and having a letter that did nothing, now he's ended up having, from about 100 letters that were sent, over 50 meetings. That number is crazy. One of the keys to that, however, is he follows up. And they followed up, in most cases, multiple times, as many as 5 follow-ups. The first letter he sent 12. Nothing came back from it. He followed up, and he ended up with 7 meetings from that. So doing the right thing, sticking with it, learning from his mistakes. But he was ready to pivot on that too until we tried another letter. So I want to talk to you about what bothers me, what makes me angry. And so this business is hard, business acquisition. And it does bother me and makes me angry when I listen to the people on the web saying, anybody can do this, you can do it, it's easy, etc. No, it's not easy. It's simple. The steps are simple, but this is emotionally a very hard process, especially for people that haven't been in sales, people that haven't dealt with rejection. You will be told no. You will have rejection. But remember, it's not personal. They don't know you well enough for it to be personal. But the people that tell you anybody can do this, standing in front of a jet that they rented for a photo shoot, or a house that they don't even live in, no. So scam artists, yeah, they make me angry, truly make me angry. So that's one. People without integrity make me angry. People that don't end up following through on the deal that they said. I've had things that I have followed through on because I said it, and it cost me money. Many people have what I'll call situational ethics. They are ethical when they can afford to be ethical financially in the situation they're at. That's not ethics. I remember Warren Buffett once saying, you want to see ethics? Don't look at me. I can afford to have ethics. And I'm a wealthy guy. Look at the single mother that's trying to put food on the table, and she does the right thing. That's true ethics, 100%. Broken commitments. I've had someone say, okay, I'm going to do this, Bruce, and not do it, and then come up with all kinds of reasons. Oh, I thought I could do it, but the board told me I couldn't do it. No, BS. You could have made it happen. You just chose not to make it happen. I choose not to do business with those people. Hopefully I'll learn that beforehand, but not always. Repeated mistakes make me angry. I understand that not everything is going to work out. I understand that making mistakes is part of this process. You will fail your way to success, I frequently say. But if you do the same thing again, you didn't learn the first time. So for instance, following the steps is important. So if I have somebody that says, I've got a question about law firms and accounting firms. Have you built your board? No, I haven't. Don't worry about law firms and accounting firms. You should understand generally the process, but build your board. And more specifically, talk to industry experts if you're not an expert in the industry. If you have warmed up industry experts, focus on only the chair position. Don't worry about all of them at once. So focus, front sight focus, as they say. That's important. Lazy excuses make me angry. Lazy people make me angry too. The path of least resistance, as Napoleon Hill said, has made many men and rivers crooked. AI can really fall into this category. It's a great tool. You can use it. You can learn from it, but it's not by definition 100% accurate. It has hallucinations. It wants you to like it. It will oftentimes interact with you that way. As a tool, I'm a big fan, but it's not always right. You still have to put the work in beyond it. Talk without execution makes me angry. I've talked to plenty of people that have told me, I'm going to be a billionaire, nobody will work harder, nobody will do this, nobody will do that, until they're tested in make your commitments, your execution commitments, and then let's see if you follow through. Well, no, I didn't do that because of this, that, and the other thing. And then something that really bothers me across the board is people not living up to their potential. Now, I want to be clear on something. If you write your obituary, if you decide this isn't important for you, that you have other priorities, I'm fine with that. You've got clarity on what you want to do. You've got clarity on how to do it. This doesn't fit into that. I'm okay with all of that. But if you say this is important, but your actions don't back that up, if somebody couldn't look at your calendar, if they couldn't look at your activities and say, yeah, you're in the business acquisition mode, you're fooling yourself. So, and then belief doesn't make me angry, but if you don't believe this process works, you are going to have a very hard time. You should understand that based on what you've heard, based on what I've said, based on the evidence you've seen, that the process works. I never tell someone that they can do it, because I don't know them well enough. I don't know the work ethics. I can tell them the process works. I can speak firsthand to that. I can speak to it through mentees. So I can talk about that. But I don't tell them that I believe they can do it, because I just don't know enough about them to be able to say that. But you should be able to say, I've looked at the evidence, and yeah. So I wrote down a challenge. So first, if I didn't believe that business acquisition could create wealth, freedom, and legacy, I would not still be doing this, because I do believe it and I've seen it in the mentees that I mentor. So here's the challenge. This week, do not tell me what you're thinking about. Do not tell me what you're planning. Do not tell me what you're researching. Those are all internal activities. Some of them are important. Writing your affirmations, writing your goals, those things, they're important, but they don't move the needle. Tell me what you sent, emails, for instance, letters. Tell me who you've called. Tell me who you followed up with. Tell me what external actions you took that reached outside your office and touched somebody, because talk is cheap, but executions are proof of what you've done, and executions are what is going to lead eventually to success that I hope that you see. So if your future is important, treat it like it's important. Don't treat it like it's a hobby. Understand the commitment you are willing to make, the price you're willing to pay for this, and then act like it. And let what you're doing speak to how serious you are about that. So I hope that helps. I hope you're not one of the guys or gals that makes me angry. One of the reasons, as I've said, that I am still doing this is I get a kick out of seeing people achieve things they didn't think they could achieve and have success they certainly didn't think they could have. And so that keeps me coming back and putting up with the ones that make me angry. But I hope if you go back through this, you can identify those things that you should be doing, shouldn't be doing. And the more external activities you have, if you're doing the right thing and talking to the right people, there's no substitute for taking action as long as it's the right action. Okay, hope that helps.